Hi, I am Kara858, and today we're bringing you our season finale, episode 26 of Lords of Faerun. We want to give a huge thank you to the love and support we have received for this show. We were working very hard behind the scenes to give you a fantastic TTRPG experience. And it's bittersweet, but exciting to come to this episode. But first, it's time to introduce our cast, our sponsors, my apologies. We are proud to say that Lords of Faerun is officially sponsored by Die Hard Dice. Die Hard Dice is an incredible company that produces gorgeous dice, dice-associated items such as dice scrolls, dice trays, dice bags, and more. And Die Hard Dice has just recently released a new line of products dedicated to the Die Hard Dice affiliate program. Many of their special line of dice get sold out very soon, so head on over to Die Hard Dice and use the promo code Faerun, that is Faerun, to get a discount off your purchase. Time to level up your dice. Lords of Faerun is now partnered with Idle Champions. Idle Champions is one of the biggest D&D games around, and this week a list of champions have been buffed to help you push past that troublesome wall. If you hit !code in chat, you will receive a code for a free Electrum chest. This chest provides free premium content to help accelerate your progress in the game. So with that, enjoy. But of course, Lords of Faerun has a Patreon, but we're hitting our season finale. So if you still would like to be able to support us after the show ends, we definitely appreciate it. But if you, of course, with us ending, there's of course no concern about that. We will be filming an after show regarding the season finale and be releasing it up on our YouTube. So make sure to follow our YouTube, which you should be able to see in the chat below, to be able to take a look at how we expose and decompose of what transpired from this episode. And with that said, it's time to introduce our cast, starting first with our new special guest, Jessica. Jessica, would you like to talk about yourself, who you're playing, little secrets and projects that you can be followed on?
Great. Yeah, sure. My name is Jessica Lynn Verdi. I'm so excited to be here. I am a lifelong friend now of Eliza, who said, you have to join this show. And then I got to meet Kira and Glaza at Comic-Con. So it's, it's a whole big ooey gooey thing. I've been doing RPGs for a long time. It's been a while since I've done one online. I stream on my channel, which is twitch.tv/Jessica Nerdy, Nerdy, because my last name is Verdi. It's so funny. And then I'm on a podcast called You Don't Know Nick. And I also am on another podcast where we're watching the Orville, Seth MacFarlane's The Orville, episode by episode. And we're leading up to the season 3 premiere. And that's Mission Log The Orville with Roddenberry's podcast channel. So I got a lot of fun things. If you want to know, go follow me on Twitter at Jessica Verdi. It's all confusing, all the names. Anyway, I'm playing Rafa. I'm a boy. I'm a young boy.
Okay.
And that's all I'm gonna say. I don't look at me, Papa. I want to be a real boy.
Perfect. Of course, we have our wonderful DM, Eliza. Eliza, you'd like to talk about yourself, who you're playing, and projects that you're working on.
Sure. Hi, I'm Elisa Pearl. Goodness gracious. I have a lot of stuff going on stream, but also I will just focus on the stuff that people can sign up for wherever you are on the internet. You can sign up for some tables that I'm running virtually, not on stream. So these are private games. Open to the world. So I have a couple seats left for my Eberron 3-shot D&D campaign with Alicia Marie, who's playing a special guest NPC that's on Sword and Scroll. You can sign up for that. It starts next Friday. And then I'm running 2 different games at GaryCon at the end of the end of March. So I'm running one session of a Call of Cthulhu adventure called Embrujado. So if you watched my 4-shot on the Good Time Society, Becca Scott's channel, I ran Becca Scott, Alicia Marie, and Cynthia Marie through an original adventure in an original setting that's like basically 1940s Puerto Rico, San Juan, Puerto Rico. And so now I'm basically writing that up as an adventure. Yay, exciting to be published. So I'm kind of like messing around with it and finding new adventures in that setting. And I'm going to be running that setting at GaryCon using Call of Cthulhu system. So you can sign up for that if you get a virtual badge for GaryCon. I think it's pretty easy to sign up for the games, but I will also tweet out all the links after this. And then I'm also running 2 sessions of an underwater campaign, or not campaign, one shot in the Sea of Fallen Stars setting that I've been workshopping for D&D in a castle. And that's the third thing. I'm running a D&D in the castle, 2 rounds. One is a whole campaign of underwater Sea of Fallen Stars adventure. And then I'm running a Hellboy one shot and a Buffy one shot. So that's a lot of stuff you can sign up for that I'm running this year. And I hope you do. Join me at a table virtually sometime this year or in person at D&D in a castle. Okay, I'm done.
No worries. Perfect. Next, we have, of course, the wonderful Glyza. Glyza, you'd like to talk about yourself, who you're playing, and projects you're working on.
Hello. I am Glyza. I am a person of many hats. I am a podcast host. I am a TTRPG player. I am a writer. I am a Twitch streamer as well. My podcast is Classical Adventures for One, which is a podcast that reads classic books and discovers them and the impact that it has on media. I'm also a co-host of Chewing Gum for the Brain. Basically, 3 people, a therapist, a linguistic, and myself, a trash panda, watches reality TV and break it down. They say all of the smart things, and I just say, hey, look, that's really funny. I'm also a writer. I write an audio drama. I'm writing an audio drama called Nightmare Hunt, where nightmares have come to life and is messing up with the humans around. I also write manga reviews on the Geekly Grind, where I read manga and tell you what I think about them. I have been on a break, but I will be coming back in March, so keep an eye on Wednesdays and Sunday mornings for my thoughts on mangas. I am a Twitch affiliate streamer. I Twitch at Classical Glyza. I usually read books. Like right now I'm reading Discworld, Book 1, The Color of Magic. That's what I've been working on. And I also play different kinds of video games where the only requirement is I have to be able to date someone. It could be literally any game that you want me to play. Right now I'm playing Mass Effect, but there has to be an option for me to romance someone. And I call that segment of my Twitch streaming Romance Me You Cowards. But today I am playing Sloon. I am taking on the hat of a tabletop role play player, and I'm playing Sloon, and I hope all of our wishes and dreams come true tonight. That is what I'm hoping for. Follow me everywhere at Classical Glyza, bio.link/Classical Glyza. Just Classical Glyza, really.
I like how you ended that with the Disney theme, but your wish is much darker than Disney would ever produce. But it's okay. It's okay. It's perfectly fine. Next, we have the wonderful Adrian. If you'd like to talk about yourself, who you're playing, and projects that you're working on.
Sure. Hello, everybody. I'm Adrian, or Aries, and you can find me on Twitter at the Adrian Bear, and I am playing Jesse Diaz, the Azamar Surfer Monk today, and I'm super excited for our season finale. I'm also the storyteller for both Blood on the Bayou and our new D&D show, Thala Unbound, which is on twitch.tv/The Bear Pin. So we're actually also having our season finale of Blood on the Bayou tomorrow, 2 p.m. PST. So y'all should check that out. Goliath is in the show, Kira is in the show, so it is a heck of a lot of fun. And you also have Noordin, who is guest starring for the 3rd episode in a row. I think we might keep him. I don't know. Yeah, and Ree will be joining us as a permanent guest, permanent cast member. Gosh, words went out the window there for Thala Unbound as of our game next week. So super excited about that as well. And let's see what else is going on at the Bear Pen. We have our new Fallout show, which Alex Hellman is the overseer of. It's the Modifius 2D20 system. So the Fallout game, it is on episode 4 next week, which is really, really cool. And let's see, anything else? I believe that might be it. I am also going to probably start doing games at my time on 7 p.m. UTC plus 8, also on the Bear Pen, because, it's nice to do things in my time zone occasionally. But yeah, you can follow me on the Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram as well. Don't post too much on Instagram, but Twitter, I'm there fairly active, and that is a me.
Perfect. And next, of course, we have the wonderful Reeve. Like to talk about who you're playing and projects that you're working on.
Hello, everyone. I'm at Big Dude Reeve on all of the socials, so feel free to follow me. Tonight, I am playing Avis Naquani, the silver-tongued bard, who is not quite in the mood for his normal frivolity, so we'll see how that goes for some people tonight. As for other projects, I am doing a number of different things all over the internet at the moment. Let's see. I am currently the storyteller for Bonds Beyond Time, which is a wonderful Mage the Ascension game set in the world of darkness, which you should definitely check out if that's your cup of tea. It's a lot of fun. I am also artist for Rivenwood Academy, and I am also playing in a few other things over on the Bear Pen as well. So check that out. And there is a new project that should be ready to announce in the next month, give or take. So keep your eyes open. I'm super excited to share it with you all.
Perfect. As for yours truly, I'm Kara858. I play Latreia, the half giant, who is still trying to understand all of this chaos and is just catching clues from their fellow groups on how to handle the situation. As for yours truly, I have quite a few projects already in the pipeline. We already have, of course, Riverwood Academy, as mentioned, Boss Beyond Time. We have a brand new show coming out called Reclamation, which, if you like D&D with a bit of Game of Thrones before season 8 and a bit of Civilization, you're going to love this campaign. Tons of political intrigue and delicious RP galore. So keep an eye out for that. They'll be coming out on our YouTube relatively shortly. Of course, as mentioned, we have Boss Beyond Time, and there's also a new campaign that will be coming out relatively soon that will be featured in this time slot, featuring some of the individuals here in this cast. I'm not going to mention the entire campaign just yet. Keep an eye out for, of course, our Twitter at the Cookout TTRPGs for when that's released. And, of course, we have Gods of Color coming in this Wednesday, which, of course, is going to be very exciting as we have some things to try to figure out, such as how we're going to have performances and where there's no bards now anymore. With that said, that's all we have for in terms of announcements, and we're going to transition to our intro video for episode 26 of Lords of Faerun.
Latreia, Avis, Jesse, Helena, Ice, Elliot, Aliza as DM, Lords of Faerun.
All right, and we are back. So with that said, Aliza, take it away.
We have some business to catch up on because during last session, we had a bit of a jump forward in time for most of the party. The four of you who were not with Sloane when she allowed herself to be taken to the Serpent Hills by the wizard, you all followed behind, and you had about 24 hours to travel there, to rest up, and then also to inspect the blades that you recently acquired from underneath the ocean, the blades of Ochirdal, or the blades of Dragon's Tongue. And so what I had my party do was you all rolled in Discord, and I gave you option of rolling different things to find out what these blades do. So now I'm going to give you the results of your rolls and also read. Would you like to just go ahead and cast Identify?
Sure, I can do that. That works
Okay.
for me.
All right. So you all rolled very high on your respective rolls of Arcana and History and Insight. And that plus the Identify spell will get you a lot of info about these blades, which I'll read to you now. So, the Blades of Ochirnal. You have 4 of them. You have black, green, blue, and red. And they are covered in dragon scale. The blades are made from a dragon's tooth, ancient, unable to be dulled. You already knew all that information, though. So here's what you didn't know. These, when they are separate daggers, they also act as daggers of throwing with a +2 bonus against their respective dragons. So, for instance, the green blade, if you are throwing it at a green dragon, it becomes a dagger of throwing +4. And it deals triple damage against that dragon. Now, you already also knew that the bearer of each blade can understand and speak all dragons' languages. Now, a little bit of metagaming here. Since these blades come from a book that was 3E or 3.5E, 5E only has Draconic, right? But there are other ancient dragon languages that you now would recognize and understand when you bear these blades, because they're from a different time. And there's more. But wait, there's more. You also did figure out through an insight check that when you connect 2 of the blades together, they become a short blade, a short sword. Now, here are some of the capabilities of that short sword. The blade bearer of the short sword can cast Fly twice per day. When cast, the bearer's back sprouts illusory wings of one of the respective dragon types of this blade. And you also get all the previous, these are cumulative abilities, so you still have the ability to speak and understand all dragons' languages. And the damage against the dragon also applies, and the bonuses also apply against the respective dragons. When you attach 3 blades together, they become, and 1 second, I had to translate something from 3.5E to 5E language. Let me just find that in my notes. Yeah. Let's say there's something called a bastard sword, which, do y'all know, does that exist in 5E? I had never. It does? Okay.
I believe it would be a great sword.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. We just swirling it around, on the back.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, this has long sword, bastard sword, and 2-handed great sword listed. So bastard sword is somewhere between long and great sword. So we can work that out, what that means for this campaign. But when you connect 3 of them together, you get a long sword. So the long blade, long sword bearer is immune to the breath weapons of the respective dragon types. When you connect 4 of these blades together, that's the bastard blade. The blade can release the breath weapons of its respective dragon types. This power can be used 4 times per day, but each dragon breath type can be used only once per day. And then, this is the doozy, and this is, Reese, since you cast you did a really high Arcana roll and you cast Identify, I'm going to say that this is the information that you get from those 2 things. If you had the 5th blade, the white blade, and you connected it now to all 4 of the others, you would get a great blade. So it would be a 2-handed great sword. The blade can, using a ceremony delineated in Pyrrha's diary from Ochirnal's own notes, slice open a gate to the outer plane of Bator and allow Tiamat, the queen of the chromatic dragons, to enter the prime material plane in physical form. This power has never been used, as Ochirnal was in the midst of the ceremony when he was slain by Pyrrha and Harkter. So that's what the blades do. That fifth blade was not, as you remember, was not in the case when you found them. There wasn't even a space for it. And as another reminder, there was a warning in Primordial, Celestial, and Abyssal that said, do not unite the five. Mm-hmm. Now you know why it said that. And that's what you all get from studying these blades for 24 hours. Okay, so now that that's squared away, we jump back into our story. You are in the underground hillside compound of Lantu, the Lonely One, aka the Wizard. He has many names, renowned for being ruthless and self-serving. You all are between two rooms in this compound. Behind you, in the room directly behind you, is Sloone in some type of stasis bubble, suspended in magical form. Really low on health, you can tell. She doesn't look too good, and she seems to be asleep, perhaps. In the room behind that, there was the room with the three urns. You noticed some signs of a scuffle. One of the urns on the left had been reconstituted somehow, maybe magically, maybe not, but it looked like it had cracked and broken into pieces and was re-put together. And then in the room in front of you, that's where the Yuan-Ti woman, Serpenta, the wife of Jason Charles Miller's character, or girlfriend of Jason Charles Miller's character, I forgot his name is. Wait, there's Cobra,
Python.
Pythor, thank you.
Pythor.
Pythor. So Pythor and Serpenta were reunited in that room. Latreia, you were able to kind of knock some sense into her and de-charm her. And you also figured out, oh, you've now de-charmed two Yuan-Ti by basically dealing damage to them, non-lethal damage to them. Pythor and Serpenta decided to retreat to safety because Serpenta was just too bruised, had taken too much damage to fight alongside you. Pythor needed to help her out, help her get to safety. But you have Kobror, the Yuan-Ti abomination, with you. And here you are in this room. Latreia, you also have shrunken back down, figuring out that in an underground cavern, becoming larger size is actually going to be to your detriment. So you've shrunken back down to 9 feet, still kind of hitting the top of this, but you can move. Moments after Pythor and Serpenta leave, you hear someone coming up from where Serpenta came up from as well. Footsteps running towards you. And as they broach the doorway, you see Rafa. Can you describe yourself?
Yeah. So, really pallid, short for a 14-year-old. Not a lot of color to my face. I've been here for a while. And more on the scared animal side of things. Like, you just don't know if I'm in pain or, like, you know, don't ever corner an animal. Like, I'm not saying that like I'm gonna attack them, but my demeanor is such that I'm very like hyper vigilantly aware of like what's going on and scared, but also like raw, I guess would say, emotionally. And my outfit's very, very plain. Like no indicating insignia or anything, just mostly just like simple clothing.
Latreia looks over, of course, being from the forest and raised in the forest almost their entire life. I'm pretty sure they could understand that animalistic instinct of being nervous and hyper vigilant. And the 9'5" individual steps forward just a second and just looks down and says, "Don't need to be afraid."
Well, okay.
What's your name?
My name is Rafa. I think you need to be afraid.
He smirks. He looks over to the rest of the group and says, "Thank you. From what exactly?"
I'm not. There's a lot more where they came from.
You actually also start hearing marching coming up that same passageway Rafa just entered from. Just the sound of many, many feet hitting the earth, coming towards you from that passageway.
Are you okay, kid? I mean, this is...
I'm fine. I'm fine. You're not fine. You're not listening. You need to go.
I think maybe you need to go as well if you feel that scared.
Fine. Forget it. Imagine I never said anything. It's your own grave.
We can keep you safe.
I don't need anybody to keep me safe.
All right. I can see that. Don't worry. It's just like that. We don't need anyone to keep ourselves safe. We have this under control. And they'll... what would they give? You say you're wearing plain clothes?
Like imagine like, just a tunic and leather pants, nothing too.
Latreia is going to pull out from his side the chocolate that he purchased from last episode, the box. And they're going to hand over the one that gives courage, I think it is.
Okay.
Which one was that one? I think that was 7, I think.
Let's see. So the one that gives courage, you said?
Mm-hmm. The one that Jesse ate.
Oh, so Elliot ate one that made him put his hand in the fire. Is that the one you mean?
No,
or
the one that Jesse ate that allowed
It
him.
kind of removed fear.
Yeah,
if I
removed
remember
fear.
correctly.
Yeah, and he was like,
Yeah, got it. Okay. So, Jesse, you would remember that this one had a strong whiskey flavor. It had whiskey in it. So you hand this chocolate, Latreia, you hand this to Rafa. And Rafa, you now have this, I will send you the details on what that is, but you now have this chocolate. I will tell you though, yep. And as he says that, it'll make you feel better. It starts to melt pretty immediately in your hand. Once it's taken out of the box, that's what it does.
I used to like chocolate, and I spill it out of my hand.
Oh.
Well, is this usable now? And they'll just put their hand against their index finger against the floor and just probably scoop up the entire portion of chocolate with their one index finger and just like suck on it real quick. It says, "Well, you're lost." and they'll start to turn around and head towards where Saloon is.
Okay.
I have a question, DM. Would I be able to hear which direction the sound of Martians come from?
You all can. It's coming from that passage that Rafa came in, and it is getting louder and louder.
How high up is the ceiling again?
It's about 9 feet. It's about Latreia's height.
All right, so I'm going to be hovering a bit, and I'm just going to take up a position close to, within like about at least 15 feet or 30 feet from the entrance to where the sounds come from.
All right. You all have moments before that Yuan-Ti army starts making its way through that passageway and into the room you're in. Latreia, you head back a room to where Sloon is. What else do the rest of you do?
Avis is helping soon.
Okay. So Latreia and Avis head that way. Jesse, you are, by the way, Adrian is also rolling for Elliot today, so I'm guessing Elliot and Jesse are guarding that passageway entry, right? Together?
I think I think knowing Elliot, Elliot's probably taken up a position close to this new kid that we've seen, and just probably got his bow out.
Okay. Rafa, what do you do?
How close are we to the urns?
They're basically 2 rooms away, pretty close.
I don't move. I just stand right in the path.
Yeah, just watching what these people
Well,
do.
I'd like to imagine I'm in the middle of the, pathway from all the rooms that are linked, and I'm in the direct path of whatever's heading our way.
Okay. All right. So here's what we'll do. Latreia and Avis will follow you first into the room before with Sloane. So again, you see Sloane in the stasis bubble. Her eyes are closed. She seems peaceful. She does look a bit beat up, just tired, worn, dragged.
Hey, that's me normally.
Not even close. So what do you 2 do?
Latreia looks down and Avis says, "Do you know what's holding her?"
Do I know that, Dungeon Master?
You don't recognize whatever this magic is. You know it is some type of, obviously, magical field that's holding her. And I will give you this, with your high magic and perception, you get a sense that she is also being held in time. This is some type of temporal stasis field.
I would like to cast Dispel Magic on it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a check. It's going to be whatever your magic casting is. Charisma? Is that right?
Charisma, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
DC 20.
I rolled a...
You rolled a...
Because I rolled a 9.
Oh, okay.
So let me see, I don't think I have anything to re-roll. I don't think. Yeah, I rolled a 9.
All right.
Not good.
How do you try to dispel? What does it look like when
He just waves his hand at it, and what looks like kind of a musical note appears in the air in front of him, but it's fainter than usual.
Mm-hmm. And it's fainter, and it also, as it approaches this temporal bubble, it kind of like bleeds into the magic and pauses, freezes, and then dissipates. Latreia, what do you do?
Latreia notices that didn't work. He says, "Well, guess have to do this the hard way." And they're just going to step forward and try to reach into the bubble and grab her.
Okay. You reach your hand in, and it freezes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't move your hand.
What is this? I can't move my hand. She's stuck. Latreia is going to...
Lose a hand.
Not really. I think what Latreia is going to try to do is see... They never experienced this type of magic before. So I think the first thing they're going to try to do is, when the hand is now stuck, they're going to use their other hand to grab out their greatsword, and then just try to slice through the barrier, not where Saloon is, but like to the side, kind of like see if they can like cut like an onion or something like that, or like an egg, and see.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna cut me in half.
Yeah, and so they're going to just pretty much bring the sword down and see if the sword gets stuck as they bring the sword through the barrier.
Okay. You pull out your great sword, and with that other free hand, chop into this stasis bubble. The tip of the sword won't move.
Can I yank it out?
You can try.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to yank out my hand as well as the sword. You just hear just like, oh, they're going to learn. And you just see like this bear totem just start to appear around their chest as they initiate a rage to give them advantage on their athletics check, and they're going to pull this back by force, or try to anyway. All right.
Okay. I will tell you the DC is very high for this.
Well, I can imagine.
And in success will also be not immediate per se. I'll put it that way.
No worries. All right. So advantage. All right. Well, thank God for advantage because the first roll was a 2. And I'll take that natural 20. So that would be with athletics 29.
45. What is it?
It's 29. 29.
Okay.
Almost at the 30 mark. Almost at the 30.
All right. You did hit the DC, which is great. You surpassed it. And you're able to very slowly pull your hand and the tip of the sword out, but it's going to take you a couple of rounds. It's going to take some time for you to finish pulling both of those things out.
And you just hear them like yell out like in a roar of just pure intense frustration and determination, which is something that you don't normally see the performer for, which kind of indicates how difficult this barrier is. Even when they chucked that large tree against the castle, they just chucked it. There was no sound associated with it. So that kind of gives you an idea of how difficult this barrier is as they're pulling back.
Elis would like and he will look at the barrier and under common say, "Be gone." Now I have to cast Dispel Magic at 4th level.
Okay. Go ahead and do your check again. Same DC.
But this do not like me. That's a 15 this time.
Okay. Same thing happens. In the other room, you all, Jesse, Rafa, and Elliot, you hear Latreia bellowing out in frustration. And if you were to glance through that little doorway, you would see him slowly pulling his hand and sword out of the stasis bubble. And now this is when that entryway is breached by Yuan-Ti soldiers, charmed Yuan-Ti soldiers. They don't see you. They don't know you're waiting there at the doorway. So I will give you each an action before we roll initiative.
All right. Let's see, what action am I going to take? I think that what I'm going to do is actually use my Searing Arc Strike. I think I can do that. Or do I want to save that for now? No, I'm going to save that for now. So the action that I'm going to do is... I don't want to hurt these people unless it's necessary. But, okay, so here's my action. I'm going to invoke my my angelic radiant soul. So, around me, the air starts kind of like crackling with more like a storm front electricity kind of deal, and the hair looks as if it's been sort of blown by a tempest, and my eyes go this sort of like color of a glowing stormy sky filled with lightning, and I am going to take the oh god, what's it called? It's the monk action where I can like patient defense. So it's a bonus action. I spend 1 key point, and it is basically the dodge action is a bonus action on my turn. So if they try and hit me, they'll do so with disadvantage. Basically, I'm going to react, not act, because we know these folks are charmed.
All right. Okay. And Elliot, what does Elliot do?
Elliot is going to prepare by casting flame arrows, which last for a minute. It lasts for an hour.
Okay.
And Elliot will probably, I think, Hex might also be. Wait, do they have Hex? No, that would also be. That's just it. And then prepared to strike if they start attacking.
So Elliot pulls back the bow on his arrow, the draw on his bow with the flaming arrow loaded up. And Jesse floats up in the air with his wings and radiance fully deployed, ready to react. Rafa, what do you do?
I'd like to prepare spells.
Okay.
And I think I'd like to prepare. Oh, it's a cantrip, so actually I don't need to prepare a cantrip, do I?
Right.
Honestly, I don't do anything.
All right. You just kind of stand there watching the entryway, hearing those footsteps. Boom, 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 boom. And the first ones enter. These passageways are not really wide enough for them to be 2 by 2, so they're going to enter one at a time. Let's go ahead and roll initiative at this point.
All right.
I rolled a nat 20.
Ooh, all right.
I don't know that's good. I don't think that's good for initiative, so I might have rolled.
I mean, it's exciting.
It's exciting, but I could have just wasted it for the rest. The odds are not in my favor, as Elisa knows from our Rat Queen's Day.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. Sound like some bad experiences.
So Ellie gets
Lower than average rolls.
13.
All right, so Rafa at 20. I heard Avis at 19.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So Ellie at 13, Jesse 15.
Elliot 13, Jesse 15. Okay, Latreia. What do you?
Latreia is at 15, but I'm pretty sure Jesse has a higher dexterity bonus, so you probably go first. You're +5, right?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I have Rafa at 20, Avis at 19, and then we have Jesse at 15. Latreia at 15. Elliot at what?
13.
13. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, Rafa, you are up first. That first Yuan-Ti. And this one is serpent head and arms, and then human torso and legs. And it's holding a sword.
Great. That's the closest one.
Mm-hmm. That's the first one that enters the room.
Great. I think at this point, I want to do the cantrip for the message that I can do. So I can do, where is it? Message. You point your finger toward a creature within range and whisper a message. And they can reply in a whisper that only I can hear. So, Ooh, interesting. Yeah, so I'd like to talk to the leader.
Okay. What do you say?
He needs to know.
Oh, can you private message me who exactly you're talking to?
Yeah, I'm talking to the leader of the Yuan-Ti, and I'm asking him to get a message to somebody, but I will let you know.
Okay, yes. Just want to be absolutely sure I know who you're sending this to. Okay. You don't hear anything in response, but you know that the message was received.
Can I indicate to them at the same time, like, this isn't the way to do this? Mm-hmm. So, like, yeah, so he needs to know, and this is, like, there's a different way.
Yeah. You actually now do get a response back. The response says, silence.
Can't do much with that. Okay, great.
Anything else you'd like to do?
I don't know that I can do anything else, right?
Okay. You still have a move You could move somewhere in the room.
Yeah, and I'm not close to the urns, right? You already said that.
Right. Those are two rooms away.
No, I'm gonna stay put.
Okay. Next up is Avis. You hear, obviously, them enter the room. What would you like to do?
Do I have any idea on how to turn this thing off?
Yes. I mean, again, you are a very powerful spellcaster, so I will tell you, you feel like you're on the right track with the dispel magic, but you just haven't quite hit it high enough yet. There's a sweet spot that you haven't hit yet. And I don't mean a physical sweet spot. I literally just mean the DC.
I will do another dispel magic.
Okay. DC 20.
It's 17.
Okay.
Oh, I don't think I can. Yeah, I can't do anything else. Then I will use bardic inspiration on Latreia.
All right. Yeah, Latreia, you feel that surge of power gifted to you by Avis.
Thank you. And you just see the
I'm going to say it'll take this round and then the next round for you to fully free yourself.
Okay.
After the next round. Okay. So, Jesse, you're up. Another, more soldiers have been entering the room with each turn, basically. So there's another soldier in the room now.
So, I took the dodge action as the bonus action, so I'm still waiting to see if they're gonna hit me. But I guess because I went before them,
right?
That didn't, that's kind of a loss, I think.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do is I am going to hold my action. Okay. To wait to see if one of them is going to hit me. But as a bonus action, I am going to whisper a prayer to the mother. And you'd notice that around me, some of the air starts to swirl with kind of what looks like ocean waters as I am invoking my channel divinity, Fury of the Tides, which for 1 minute, when I hit a creature with a weapon attack, I can choose to push the target 10 feet away from me. If pushed into an obstacle or another creature, the target takes +2 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
But my action is to hold my action to attack if I get hit.
Yep. All right. So okay. All right, so that's your turn. And then, Latreia, unfortunately, you are still pulling your sword and your hand out of the stasis bubble, so that is your turn for this round.
Just to clarify, am I free next round or the following round?
The following round.
Oh, wow. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, it's going to take 2 full turns for you to get free. And then Elliot is up next.
All right, so I can't do Elliot's voice. Elliot has prepared the spell, and Elliot is probably going to try and gauge the situation of the room. So, can Elliot make an insight check?
Yes. Trying to gauge what exactly? Sorry.
Kind of the situation of the room, like this new boy that's appeared and these soldiers that are coming in, trying to get a read on what is this young boy's deal and what is these soldiers' deal. Like, are they going to attack us or are they just getting ready for something?
Okay.
All right. That'd be a 17 on the inside.
All right. So Elliot gazes at these soldiers as they fill into the room. With his bow at the ready, bow and flaming arrow at the ready. And he just takes a moment to cast, just put his attention on the soldiers. And he realizes that these soldiers are still enchanted, obviously. They, similarly to the Yuan Ti that came upon the shore in our first session way back when, they have been sent. Well, before it was just for Sloan. Now it's actually for you all. Elliot actually thinks perhaps they have been sent to keep you all away from Sloan. And I will let Rafa, Jess, if there's any insight that Elliot picks up from you, feel free to share that.
What did Elliot roll?
17?
Yeah. I think Rafa, that it would make sense that Elliot can tell who I'm related to.
Yeah. So Elliot realizes this is the child of Lantu. There is something off about this child, though.
Yeah, and I think Elliot can get that too.
Yeah.
So, knowing Elliot, I think he would say, you know, there is a different way. You don't have to do this. More looking at Rafa than looking at the soldiers.
I'm just like, what? Kind of like, okay. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't think they know what my purpose is, and I don't know what they mean either. So I don't know who they're talking to. I'm 14, remember?
That's still what Elliot is doing. Would that take Elliot's full action, or would they still be able to make an attack?
I feel like they can. Let's see. I don't have their. Do they have like bonus actions, or any reactions and things like that?
The reaction that they have is Hellish Rebuke. But no super bonuses unless it's no real bonus actions here right now. But
they'll definitely have that reaction if on their turn the Yuan Ti attack. So
okay. Yeah, that's it. That's still trying to hold off hitting these people as long as possible.
Okay, that's Elliot's turn, and now it is the Yuan Ti army's turn. So the first one presents his sword and slashes over at you, Jesse. The second one slashes at Elliot. So this is attack. Let's with their scimitars. Let's see.
I am flying a bit in the air, so I don't know how tall these things are.
They're pretty tall. They're like 6+ feet.
And, and the ceiling is barely 10 feet tall. So I'm just like,
Okay, first one against Jesse, I'm guessing does not hit with an 8.
No.
Second one, does a 16 hit?
It does not.
Okay. I'm sorry, against Elliot.
Oh, against Elliot?
Mm-hmm. I don't think it does either, though.
It actually does. You said 16? That
Yes.
actually does hit.
Ah, okay. So Elliot does get slashed. Go ahead and use that reaction as well.
All
if you're
right.
going to do that.
Sure. Maybe the damage will kind of knock him out of it. So
Okay.
they're going to use a Hellish Rebuke at first level. So that's just a 2d10. And it is Dexterity saving throw DC 16.
Now, does the Hellish Rebuke, do I deal the damage to Elliot first, and then I think that's how it happens, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 5 damage to Elliot,
Okay.
and then Hellish Rebuke. So I'm sorry, it was Dexterity. What was it? DC?
16.
16. All right. Dexterity. Yeah, did not make that.
Okay. I have no notes here, so I'm just gonna. Okay, I will roll the damage for that. It is 2d10 fire damage. Well, I guess it's fire damage. I'm not sure how Elliot would flavor it, but that is 12 points of fire damage.
All right. Elliot singes back at this Yuan Ti, and it is momentarily engulfed in flames and takes that damage.
Do I get my attack now, seeing as they attacked me?
Yes, you do.
All right. So, yeah, I'm gonna attack with my fists. No, actually, I'm gonna be using the short sword and my spear for my attacks. So with the short sword, that would be a 14 to hit.
Okay. Sorry, my brain shorted out for a second. That does hit, yes.
Okay, and all right, and I will actually roll that damage first. A short sword is a D8 if it's one-handed, right? Or D6.
6.
Okay, so 1 plus an additional 2 bludgeoning damage. I have 2 character sheets. It's difficult to work.
I know.
Now.
I've had to do that before, and I know it's like a juggling act. So thank you for doing that.
All right, so it's going to take 10 points of damage, and it is going to be pushed 10 feet away from me. Does it hit anybody in the process?
If you are, where are you trying to angle it? You're trying to angle it so it doesn't hit anyone, I'm guessing.
I'm trying to angle it so that it actually does hit into another Yuan Ti, because my thinking is to do damage to them that's going to knock some sense into them.
Yeah. It's pushing away from you. Yeah, I'll say, because they've just entered the room. If you were like 5-ish feet from the door, then you could have knocked them back into the entryway. That's the only way they could hit another Yuan Ti, if they could just go back towards the entryway. Would you like to do it that way?
I would, yes, please.
All right. And so that happens.
All right. So, do they... Now, it doesn't say they go prone or anything like that. It just says they get pushed away from me. That's okay. Is there another one close to me?
No, you've actually knocked the 2 that had come into the door. You've knocked them back into the tunnel entryway. So those of you looking back into that entryway now, you see them kind of do like a little bit of a domino effect and fall back into each other.
That's good. All right. So then I guess my second attack, I will sort of charge up a Kamehameha Radiant Sunbolt and just fire that off at the one that I didn't hit directly, hoping to hit it with some damage.
I will tell you, as you load up to make that attack, your radiant energy surging and starting to grow and glow. The 2 that have taken damage now, one from Elliot and one from you, the first 2 in line, they have this dazed, confused, way out of it look in their eyes, and they look very confused, like they don't know where they are.
Okay, then I will hold back on that and say, Cobra, this is your turn to shine, buddy. You know the score.
Cobra is behind you. I totally forgot to roll initiative for Cobra, but we'll put him after the Yuan Ti. Okay. Cobra steps forward, and he actually has sheathed he sees his, fellow Yuan Ti. He sheaths his scimitar, and he says, "Run, my friends. Leave this place." And the 2 of them who have been uncharmed run. He says, "Go that way." He kind of shows them where to go. Cobra says, "I don't know how we'll get out of this, but I think we just tell them all to leave. You knock some sense into them and I'll guide them out."
Works for me, pal. Works.
Unless someone can find that wizard.
All right. Kid, do you know where the wizard is? I'm still keeping my eyes on the entrance. I'm just shouting into the out to the back.
I told you there was a different way, and no one listened to me.
I'm going to take control of Elliot for a second just for RP and say, okay, I'm listening now.
It's too late. They won't listen. He won't listen. No one. I can't trust anybody. And that's okay.
We are only here to help our friend, and we don't want anyone to get hurt.
And you are not my friend.
Do you have a friend?
I do not.
Do you want one?
I do not.
Elliot looks at Jesse, kind of shrugs. We are still in combat. I'm going to say that was
this happening around a kerfuffle.
yeah, it's like that break in the action in an action movie, you know.
Right.
But we're back at the top of the round. So Rafa, actually, this is perfect because it's your turn now.
Right. I think I'm going to attack Elliot.
Okay. All right.
But not like it's super. Well, I mean, how could you do it aggressively? You can't not do it aggressively.
Real gentle, like slap, like meh.
Yeah.
A little tiny spell. Meh.
I think I don't know. This is also a cantrip, but it's chill touch, and you create a ghostly skeletal hand in the space of a creature within range. So it's a ranged spell attack. On a hit, the target takes 1d8 necrotic damage.
So you're standing right next to Elliot.
And I'd like to.
It's a ranged spell attack, so it's going to be at disadvantage, just FYI.
Well,
cast it.
I'm 14. I don't know. I don't know any better.
Yeah.
How far are me and the Trayu from this?
I would say you're about 20 feet.
Do we see
I
this?
see it.
Kind of in another room, right?
Yeah, you're in the other room. There's no door. There's a doorway, like a little arch that you can see all this through and probably hear for the most part. Unless people are trying to like whisper to each other, you probably are picking up on what's going on in the next room.
All right, so we would definitely hear the yelps of pain if a chill touched you.
Well, yes, you would hear that. Absolutely.
But there is a lot of also like people moving around, right? Yon
Yes.
team. So there's a lot of different things that could be happening.
That is true. Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to roll disadvantage. I think, I don't know. Is there something I roll? +3 to hit? Okay.
Okay.
It's 13.
That's not it.
And that's not going to be good. Oh, and this one's 16. So yeah, with disadvantage, it's going to be 13.
13 plus 3 or 13 total?
13 total with the disadvantage.
Yeah, it misses.
Okay, so that hand anyone watching would kind of see a hand start to appear, but it just kind of doesn't quite make it.
Yeah, you see me really struggling, like really struggling to do it.
Elliot says, "Hey, okay, kid, come on. We are not enemies here."
I have no basis to believe. I have no grounds to believe that.
Well, let me just say this plainly while I can. And Elliot kind of looks for who's coming through the door next. You don't look too good, kid. Okay? I'm guessing your dad doesn't treat you very well.
He loves me.
I'm not sure what you think love is, but I would never treat a kid of mine in a way that would make them look like you do right now.
I've not seen a mirror. I don't know how to look. So
I'm gonna roll. Jesse, can you tell me what the modifier is? I'm gonna roll persuasion, and actually, it can be contested, Rafa, if you like.
yeah, no, I'll see what happens.
Okay, I'm gonna roll persuasion. Elliot rolling persuasion. That's an 11 on the die.
+4, so that's 15.
15.
Yeah, I'm gonna contest it.
Okay.
If I can't chill touch the, do I just roll just a neutral 20 on it? Oh, that's a -1. So that I totally.
Ooh. Okay.
I know. I've become instantaneously. I love that I'm super loyal to the one person that's not here right now. I'm like shooketh about this person kind of like rocking my world right now a little bit.
Interesting.
I cast silvery barbs at that.
Okay. At who?
At Rafa's, I guess, deception attempt. I know, hiding the truth attempt. I know, whatever ability check you'd call that, but that one.
Were you trying to deceive Rafa?
Yeah, it wasn't deceive, I think.
I don't know. I just think whatever the check is.
That's fair. I totally failed not being persuaded by Elliot.
So you are persuaded?
I'm totally persuaded by Elliot. So I don't know that there's anything to block because and to justify that a little bit since it's such an abrupt change. I feel like it's a 14-year-old looking at another guy going, "Oh my God, I want to be that." You know?
Yeah. I mean, and I will say here, I'll help paint the picture too for you, Rafa, because we have a hot boy group. So like both Jesse and Elliot and Ree and Avis are like hot boys. Like for
it.
And they're
sorry,
all
did I say-
shirtless.
You said Rhea
they're
and
all like
Avis.
shirtless and
They're all shirtless. They're like abs for days.
we've established this is canon in our world. Like they're hot boys.
Got it. So like they're the 1D of
We're
Oh my God,
CW
yes.
D&D shows.
Yes, they are the One Direction of D&D.
Wonderful.
They look kind of awesome, and you're like, wait, you want to be my friend? Wait,
Yeah,
I should
yeah.
reconsider. So
Yeah.
that is going through your head right now.
yeah. So since I think I only have one action though, right?
You haven't taken an action yet.
Well, I did the cantrip, right? So then I can do another action. Or
let's say
the
yes,
cantrip's
go for
a-
Bonus action.
Well, no.
go
I
for
think cantrip is an action, but
I'm going to give you another action now.
great. However, you would advise me to make the rest of the group retreat. I'd like to think that I could make the Yontis listen and not continue. That's kind of what I was intending to get them to do in the first place. I want to get them to my dad.
I haven't looked at your spell list. Do you have?
So I have chill touch, message, true strike. My
You don't have to tell me all that. I can also check.
I went through all of them and said whatever I could potentially do because I was choosing one and then they wouldn't go into my spells.
Ah, dang it. Yeah.
So
Okay. It might have been because of levels, possibly. Like
it definitely had to be, but even though they said that this was second level spells, it wasn't going into the slots. But okay, maybe unseen servant, but I wonder if I have to prepare it.
let's do this. You know what? I like your idea, and I kind of want to just go with it instead of being stuck with what you have spell-wise. So let's
Right.
narratively play this out.
I would say, as a component of my father's, if this probably would make sense to have some sort of control over them.
Yeah. All right. Let's do it this way. Go ahead and roll persuasion.
Love this for me.
I will give you advantage,
Okay.
and you're rolling against the soldiers who are in the entryway.
Great. Oh no.
Oh, okay.
11.
11.
He's not really good at this stuff.
He's trying.
Stop. I have friends. Please.
Yeah, so that does not stop them from standing back up, and you can see those. So the two that left, they're gone, right? But then the
Right.
ones in behind them that got toppled over, they've been kind of like getting back up and getting ready to come back into the room, and they still are doing that. They don't pause at all.
Oh, okay, great. Well, I tried.
Jesse and Elliot, you stand there and you see this all happen and realize that, oh, okay, this kid actually maybe will listen to us and go along with things. Now, Avis, you're up next. You, and I will also say, you probably would have heard a lot of or seen that interaction from the other room.
Casting Dispel Magic again.
All right, yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's 15 again.
Oh, dang it. So can't you give yourself inspiration or something?
So the only way I can give myself advantage is if I use Silvery Barbs on someone else first.
Oh.
Wait a second.
Yes.
I could do lucky on another person's roll, right? Or is it or is it just the DM?
Can you?
Let me double check. I know I can make the DM roll a roll, but I'm not sure if I could make someone else do it. Let me read it real quick.
I think I will give you advantage, Avis, because you've done this a few times. You have now some insight on how this spell. You know that you're so close. So I'm going to give you advantage.
I was about to say something inappropriate for our PG stream, but I'll keep it for all.
16.
Save it for the after show. That was 16 total.
Yeah.
Wait, what's your spell save DC?
20.
It's my
this-
an ability check, not a DC.
Oh,
So
it's
only
Yeah.
So for me, it's only a +7 total.
Only up to 7.
Oh, I thought it was a spell save DC on top of it. For
If it was my spell save, it'd be at 19.
If
So
only
it would
one of
be
your
a
friends had
position.
guidance. Oh.
Only we have someone else that could cast Counterspell, then I could Bardic Inspiration. But no. That's
Okay.
that's it.
Okay. All right. And then Jesse is next.
All right. So I'm getting ready for all the things that are happening, but I'm listening to this conversation between Elliot and between Rafa, and I am still keeping my eyes on the UNC, and I say, look, kid, we don't even know your name yet, but if you need help, we are here to help you. We're here to help our friend, and I'm not gonna lie, we're probably here to kill your dad, I guess, but if you need help, we can help you. Just point me in the right direction.
Okay, shouldn't we handle these people first?
I think if we handle your father, I guess, that might take care of the situation quicker.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I don't know exactly where he is right now, but I believe we can find him.
Run or stay, your choice.
No, I look over at Elliot, like, what does Elliot tell me to do?
Elliot just smiles at you warmly and says, "You have some skills, kid. I think you should trust your gut. We'll follow you."
Stepping away from the game, are we in a position to disengage?
I am super fast, and I can get out of there. I can take a step of the wind and get out of their reach and pick you up.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think if we, you know what? To be fair, too, I know secret entrances throughout this whole place, so I'm gonna lead us to. I'm like actually excited. I'm like, okay, and so I kind of guide us to like a place where you wouldn't expect like a door to, and get us to like a stone door after like touching in the right direction a couple of stones.
Okay.
All right, so I will spend that key point for a step of the wind to disengage if there are any in combat with me, and I'm going to fly over and use my action to pick up the kid so that we can fly to wherever Rafa wants to take us.
Okay, great. And it is so. That's what happens.
Is so.
That's my DM phrase now. It is so.
I love that. I love that because it's like make it so, make it so. It is, but it is so very good.
So, number one.
And then you have to have someone. We have to have a sound that goes, and so it was.
Yeah. And so it was. Okay, so that's Jesse's action. And like the wind, Jesse, you scoop up Rafa and you all leave this space, and we'll follow you in a second. But first, Latreia, you are up next.
So Latreia finally finishes up, right? This round? Yeah, finally.
I think so.
Finally finishes up pulling the sword and arm out of it, and he just gruffly just like, I don't like what I can't hit it. And they just like stare at the barrier for a second. It says, Avis, what could be done?
I believe it would be best either killing the person who created it or waiting until I can end the magic. Though it appears that other people are arriving soon, so we'd either have to kill those people or leave.
And you just see that bear total just flashing across their chest as their rage starts to increase a bit. It says, no kill. And they just kind of like bang their chest against the side, and they're going to use their frost rune to give them a +2 on their strength and constitution save and strength checks. And then not knowing where they head off to, Latreia is going to buy time for Avis by essentially just knocking the Yuan Ts that are in front of them out while Avis tries to disengage, dispel this barrier. So they're going to go across to the first Yuan T and pretty much just smack them across the head with their giant axe. It's just,
Yes.
I would say sorry, but I'm not. And you just see
The trip bum rush.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you just see them smashing. But still the pound. The hilt.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and make your attack.
All right. All right. Okay. That would be a 19 to hit.
That hits.
All right. So again, this is non-lethal, even though it may seem like a lot of damage. So please bear with me.
Okay.
And I'm not crazy tired, so let's go.
Trey really plays with that word non-lethal.
Hey.
Non-lethal.
It's non-lethal, but it's like 80 hit points. Are you okay?
I think you said you were going to make them roll dexterity for that too, right?
No, only if I got larger. Only if I got larger.
Disadvantage, yep.
Yeah, and that's the reason why they're also upset, because they can't grow. They can't embrace their storm giant aspect. So they're just like, I'm stuck in the size. I can't hit this barrier. I hate this place. And
My hands was frozen in time.
Yep, I've never seen this happen before. What is this chaos? In terms of damage, it is... I am raging, so that's a +2. 8 plus 28. 8 plus 28 is
36.
36?
36, yeah. 36 points of damage for that hit.
Yeah. Yeah, you're... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, yeah. So Latreia just comes and brings in their axe, and he just pretty much tries to jam it right across the temple. Pretty much just to like kind of like knock him out, but not, of course, not kill him per se.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, narratively, that kind of force to the temple would kill someone.
Okay.
But mechanically, you declared that you're not trying to kill him, so we will go with it.
In that case,
suspend our disbelief. It is a fantasy game, whatever.
They'll shift it then if they realize the blow is going to be too vicious for the side of the face. They'll shift it to perhaps their rib, and they try to just like jab it against their abdomen and knock it to the side. Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. You do that, and yes, they do get knocked. They haven't technically, whatever, it doesn't matter. They are at the opening of the room, and they just kind of like get knocked to the side, exposing the person behind them. And once again, Latreia, you all have started to you know the deal now. If these people get knocked hard enough, they can just be shaken out of that charm. You see that look of confusion, and they look up into the eyes of Cobrar. At the back of the room saying, go, run, go, go. And he runs out. Mm-hmm. All right. That was Latreia's turn.
Yep, that's it.
Elliot is next. I will narratively, if you don't mind. Actually, no, sorry. Adrian, you can go ahead. Would you like to move for Elliot?
We are just keeping like lockstep together, Jesse's not going to be flying too fast that Elliot cannot catch up. Actually, I think because Elliot is also tuned to the other longsword right now, they will cast fly on themselves. So that we can fly at the same speed.
Okay.
And we're just going wherever Rafa is telling us to go.
Okay, so Elliot is also following. Does Elliot have a disengage, something that helps them disengage with... well, I guess, you know what?
They do not, so they will get an attack of opportunity against Elliot, but...
Yeah, I'm trying to think. How this all happened was a little screwy. So I think let's just say... Yeah, okay, I'll go ahead and take that opportunity attack just cause.
Okay.
Ooh, that was a high roll. Not bad. 23 hits. Yeah.
Yeah, that hits.
And... 10 damage to Elliot.
It's all good.
Okay. But Elliot does, when that happens, cast fly and is able to follow behind.
I believe Elliot had the blue and green daggers, so let's say the draconic wings are blue, I guess.
Okay, cool. Sorry, just answering a question. Okay, that was Elliot's turn, right? Now the Yuan-Ti army. Okay, first one misses. Who else? So Latreia is in the room and Avis is at the back of the room, is that right?
Yeah, Latreia has pretty much tried to block off the room to have them all attack them. Him.
Got
Yeah,
it.
him. Sorry.
Them, sorry.
Oh no, he's him. Yeah, he's him.
You
sorry.
tell me. I'm sorry.
My apologies. Yeah, he's him. But yeah,
Okay.
try to block off the room to make sure no one could get past to Avis without taking opportunity of attack.
Got it. All right. So they both try to hit you. First one misses. Second one, what is this? 16 on the die. It's pretty good. Does a 21 hit?
Yes, that hits.
All right. So 8, 11 damage.
All right, cut it half.
All right. And
75.
That's their turn. Now, back at the top of the round, which means we are with Rafa. Rafa, you are now leading Elliot and Jesse through these back tunnels, right? In the hillside compound?
Yeah. So I'm leading us downward.
Okay. All right. I'm going to send you a message.
I know so many things you people don't know.
I know all the secrets. All the secrets.
Immediately I went, what do you mean by you people?
How do you have an internal conversation with yourself? What?
You don't. This is something I didn't realize most people don't do. I can think of a song and be on the chorus and the verse and then sing the song at the same time. I know. I didn't realize that my ability to ruminate was so many different levels deep until I realized that most people don't have 7 different tracks of thought going. I tend to.
That is impressive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, which way would you like to go with that information, knowing that information?
I have one more question to ask you.
Okay.
Secrets upon secrets.
Secrets. Yes.
Okay. That's what we need to do first.
Okay. So you want to
So-
track back to that room?
Yeah, I think in order to it would make sense that as opposed to going downward, I want us to go to the urn room, but I just am taking us to the urn room in a secret passage.
Exactly. Yeah, and actually, Rafa, when you lead them out of the room, there are magical passages that are covered by magic that they didn't notice before. So you absolutely take them through one of them, through a couple of windy ways, and then back into that room. You just took a more circuitous back route. So you 3 are now standing in the bronze urn room. There's those three bronze urns that are like 8+ feet high. And so what would you like to do, Rafa?
I instruct them, friends, my new friends, these need to be destroyed, not the one, and I hover my hand over the recently reconstructed one.
Okay.
You will
Well,
oh, go ahead.
Sorry. That one, actually, everyone would know this. You know that is your dad's.
Oh, I thought, okay. I don't care about my dad's.
Yeah.
I'm trying to destroy 2 of them and not Sloon's.
So here's which ones are which. The one on the left that was reconstructed is your dad's because Sloon cracked it open and damaged it. But since it's inert anyway, it was able to be healed and put back together. The one in the middle is yours. And the one on the right, I'll give you this. And we'll just say narratively, you just kind of cast your insight or something. You realize that your dad actually took some flesh from Sloon last night after their battle and has started growing. Then, with the help of the mage friend, that necromantic mage started the spell to create a clone of Sloon.
So I thought I knew. I thought I knew that. I didn't want to intimate. I didn't.
Yes, you do know that.
But I don't necessarily tell them that. I just want them to destroy it. I ask them to not ask questions. I direct them to the 2 that I want them to destroy, which is me and my father.
All right. Okay.
So I put my body in front of the 3rd one that I don't want them to destroy.
Okay. That is your turn, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Dramatically cutting away, back to Avis. Dispel this magic, Avis. Do it.
What is
Did
happening?
I make it too hard? No, I didn't. You can do this.
Do I have advantage on this, or is it just
You have advantage on this. You will have advantage for every time now. That
2
you try.
natural ones.
God.
Oh, 2 2s.
What?
Actually, 2 2s.
Ree, I will smack you through this computer.
I saw the chuckle come out myself. I saw the chuckle come out myself. I was like, oh, it's about to go through the Zoom from one window to the other.
I have used almost all of my spell slots on it.
Oh my God.
Avis is just so pissed off right now.
Oh, Sloon is gone.
Like, oh, this is what you
Avis.
mean by Glyza getting her wish. This is what she was talking about.
Okay.
Avis,
I feel like at
yes.
this point, it'd just be easier just to kill Glyza and revive her. At this point, it'd be less spell slots, honestly.
You don't know yet about, your character doesn't know yet about the clone, but you make a good point.
It would be less spell slots to just revive her afterwards. But still, I rolled 2 2s, so this is not working.
Okay. Would you like to do anything else? Would you like to move, or you have any other bonus actions you can do?
Can I look around for another way of solving this problem outside of the spell magic?
Yeah.
Can I do that? I would do that. There's something else.
You want to roll
There's a
like?
check for that.
Yeah, roll. Give me like an insight check.
Hey, that's a 28. I got that one. I did that one. Did that one. It worked. That one worked.
All right. I'm going to give you some insight into the wizard's thinking. You have now been working with this spell for several rounds, not able to dispel it, but every time you try to, you're getting the reverberation of that magic. So you are kind of like, it's like getting to taste another chef's seasoning. You're like, oh, that's what you put cumin? Oh, interesting. So you're picking up from being up close with his magic that obviously he wants to protect, he thinks he's protecting her from you, from the rest of the party, from everyone. You're not sure what he plans to do with her, but you feel that, number one, he could come in here at any moment with his dimension door, but he hasn't. And that must mean something. You're not sure what. You're like, why hasn't, I've been trying to dispel it. He must know that I'm trying to dismantle his spell. Why hasn't he tried to stop me? Why hasn't he been here? What is he doing? He's doing something else. You also get the sense that I'm going to actually go ahead and give you, oh, you know what? Let's do this narratively. Sloon, since you haven't gotten to do anything yet.
What's up?
I want you to You get 2 sentences you can say to Ree as part of his insight check here.
2 sentences.
Yeah, and it's kind of your consciousness kind of seeping out through the magic. So, yeah, 2 sentences. 2 short sentences. It can be anything. Anything.
The first one is...
I am hungry.
The first one is, please go. And then the second one is, I love you. Oh. And that's the 2 sentences.
I'm gonna cry. Ree, I'm Avis. Do you do anything else?
I don't think I can do anything else. I don't have any spells.
Okay.
Anything done.
Yeah, just to clarify, so from that insight check, you're wondering where the wizard is and why he hasn't made an appearance. Okay. And now, back to the urn room. Jesse, you've just been told by Rafa what's in those 2 urns, or actually, Rafa, I think you did say what's in those 2 urns, and that they need to be destroyed. This is the way to defeat the wizard. One part of the way to defeat the wizard.
I don't think I tell them who's in this one, though.
Got it. Thank you. Okay.
All right. Sure. I will attack it once with the short sword of Fortunal. That is a 29 to hit.
Okay. That definitely hits the urn.
And I will attack the second time with my spear. That is a 23 to hit.
That hits.
Okay.
Can you let me know what the damage is on that first hit?
Sure.
On the urn?
It is 7 points of piercing damage, and it is 12 points of radiant damage as my first strike comes and the sort of storm, sort of dark blue colored energy radiates through the sword and just focuses all in it there. So that 19 points on the first one.
Okay. Great.
And on the second one, it is 8 points of 8 points piercing damage. This is not a living enemy, so I am not going to waste my spell slots on it right now. So, another 8 points damage there. That's my attack there.
Yeah, your total was like 40 something damage
19 plus 8
for the second hit, right?
No.
I see.
Yeah, total 19 plus
Total.
8, so 27 total.
All right. So you've done plenty of damage to this urn, and that first piercing pokes a hole and water starts seeping out, and then your radiant damage surges through it and starts to shatter it again. It was also weakened because it had been reconstituted. It had been shattered before by Sloone. So you were able to shatter this again, and once again, water just cascades down from the shattered pieces of bronze urn falling to the floor, and you see a fully formed human, inert body, fleshy body that looks exactly like, well, you haven't seen him before, but this is the wizard.
So was that on the first strike or with both strikes that the body fell out?
With both strikes, you're able to shatter it and release its contents.
Okay. Then in that case, I will spend a key point. And just to do a flurry of blows, because I took 2 attack actions and my both my weapons are monk weapons, and I am just gonna I know this is a horrible imagery, and I apologize for this, but my hands are full of 2 weapons. I'm gonna just brain stomp him.
Okay. You kind of, yeah.
Squish the dead body.
Squish
I know
it.
It's horrible imagery, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I did.
We don't have to describe it more for the sake of people who don't like grossness. But yeah, okay. And do you need to roll any damage on that?
That's entirely up to you.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was reading something. You are on this. Did you roll an attack on it already, or you just spent a key point to do this?
I have to roll attacks, so that is.
Okay.
I mean, okay.
Yeah,
So the
go ahead and
first one, I'm pretty sure hits because it was a natural 19 on the dice plus
Oh,
my
yes.
bonuses. The second one, maybe not. Although no, 19 should be all right. 19
Yes.
hitting the second one, and they will both be d6s of damage. I have no idea how much a clone can take. 5 plus 10 is 15 points of damage.
That is enough to destroy this clone beyond it being able to be used.
Oh, that is real squishy. I don't like that.
It's very squishy. It is inert. It doesn't have a soul in it yet. So, yeah, that's why it's so squishy. Okay. That's your turn?
I have this exact look on my face.
Yeah, and Rafa has that look on his face.
I think there's some involuntary puking response that's being, but I don't want to puke in front of my new guy friends that are really good looking.
Elliot also was like... Elliot actually will point to the second urn and say, do we have to do it to that one too?
Yes, but if you don't want to do the squishing, I could try.
Elliot will back up enough so that there's no disadvantage with the longbow because there is additional fire damage on that, if that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Does a 12 hit?
Yes. Oh, sorry. You're hitting the second urn, though.
Yeah.
That does not hit the urn.
Okay.
Does it like ricochet off?
Yeah, like,
Neither of them hit the urn.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe Elliot's still too grossed out by the squishiness.
Friendly DM hint that there are other ways to, there's other ways to get to the contents of the urn. You don't just have to break it. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the hard way that you've done it.
Unscrew the top.
Well, can I rewind? Can I rewind?
Oh, yeah.
Then?
There you go. Yes.
Okay. Then maybe Elliot will try and just, open it up and take out the content.
Yeah. Go ahead and do a strength check.
Okay.
oh.
It's basically like a go-gurt.
It's a 6.
Why?
No.
Okay.
My everything
All right.
will never be the same.
We'll come back to this, but Elliot is climbs up towards the bronze urn and tries to yank it down, topple it, get to the top, and just doesn't have success yet.
Okay.
Now, we will come back to this, and Latreya, it is your turn. We skipped you, but we are coming back to you now.
Okay, so Latreya, of course, knocking out the first person, looks behind and sees Avis is still working on that barrier. He looks towards the group, and then a little grin just spreads across his face as he rushes forward to the next opponent that comes across. And he's just like, I could do this all day. And he just rushes and pretty much just smashes from side to side and hits the two people in front of him.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, that should definitely hit because that is a 26.
Yeah, that hits.
All right. Ooh, I think we rolled this one. Of course, it's all lethal. 2 plus 8. 30. So 30 points of damage for that person. I think from one hit it removes the charm condition, right? So after he sees that hit, after he lands the blow, they bring the axe around and swing to the other side, believing that that first hit should hopefully get them out of their stupor. And then it pretty much is going to drive their handle into the obliques of the second individual.
Yep. Knowing how much damage you typically deal, I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
Your hits will be enough for them to be decharmed.
All right. And the second hit was also a 25. So, so presumably, I can roll if you want, but yeah.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good. Yeah.
And that's it for me. And they're just going to keep keeping the folks at bay.
Okay.
The movie 300.
Okay. I'm going to narratively take us to a different place for a moment. And actually, Rafa, this is for you. In your mind, you see this. You see your dad in this place where you know he typically goes to meditate, to hold his concentration for all of this work he does. He calls it the work he does. You see him in that place, the wind swirling around him. And for a flash, there's something in the clouds. It's almost like you're looking through his eyes for a second, and then you have the view of him from the outside. And coming towards him, you see the large purple flapping wings of a purple dragon. We will take our break here.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah.
Method, baby.
Yeah, the secret weapon is arriving. All right. I hope you like what you're enjoying with our season finale. If you like what you see here, make sure to join our Discord, which you should be able to see the link in the chat below. We have a section for spoilers as well as for non-spoilers, fan art, and more. And we would love to hear your thoughts about the campaign as a whole and what you'd like to see for season 2. We'll be back in about 10 to 15 minutes for the second half of Lords of Faerun. But until then, farewell for now.
Conversation.
You stand in my ring now.
All right, and we are back for the second half of Lords of Faerun. So with that said, Lisa, take it away.
Okay. Outside, Mephit flies towards the Serpent Hills, having received a message via Sending Stone from Sloon a day before. Mephit, being a very powerful dragon, has blind sight. Can see a lot of what's going on inside this hill. Avis, the room you're in with Sloon, as you are still trying to dispel that magic desperately, and you get that brief message from the consciousness of Sloon, I love you, please go. You feel the room and the earth around you being impacted. Boom, boom, shakes as if it's just outside. And soon, carving itself out of the earth in the wall, this hillside wall, an opening appears. And a person walks in. You don't recognize this person at first. They look humanoid, deep tan skin with purple accents, purple hair, purple spiky hair, looks maybe androgynous, wearing a purple cloak with long silken robes. And they walk in, and they look at you, and then they look at Sloone, and you see sadness on their face. And they look back at you, Avis. What happened to her?
I don't understand the magic, but someone, what I assume is our enemy, has trapped her here. Are you able to undo magic?
Their purple eyes flash at you and look back over. I'm not sure. I can try. Who did this and where are they?
If I knew, you would not need to ask that question. And Avis will reach up and take his mask off. And when he does, you can see his hair has fallen in a very uncharacteristically unkempt manner for him. And there is a single tear going down the right side of his face. And he will, understanding that he isn't actually strong enough to do this, he will take that hatred and transform it into a song that is equal parts beautiful as it is sad. And as he begins to play a requiem for the pain and destruction created by Alantu begins to fill the area, and he will use bardic inspiration on this newcomer.
Okay. Okay, so that melody floats over to this purple-clad newcomer with purple eyes. And you have met Mephit before in his dragon form, so you have a sense that this is who this is. Also knowing that Sloone had that message and that sending stone and that one call, Mephit promised you get one call, use it wisely. So you kind of piece 2 and 2 together and realize that's who this is. I'm imagining him as like David Bowie with purple eyes, but like deeper, tanner skin. FYI.
I'm being saved by David Bowie. That's the best thing I could ever want in life. I'm good.
Like a brown David Bowie, though. Like brown skin.
Well, Ursa in the chat said formerly known as Prince. I think Prince is.
Oh my God, Prince!
Yeah, we were thinking about Prince.
But he has to have he has like purple and white spiky hair too.
Right. He's like angelic Prince who like went through like the shocking. Yeah.
Okay, now I want to speak like Prince, but I'm not going to do it. Who is he and where is he? Who did this to her? All right, anyway. Maybe I will do that. Okay.
Raspberry.
He whips out his purple guitar.
So he opens the portal.
Okay, so he looks up, thinks some more. And then he also looks up. And you sense that this, even in humanoid form, he can see beyond what you all can see. His sight goes further, and he's looking up at the top of the hill, perhaps. And then he looks back down at Sloone in the stasis bubble. Okay, so let's try this. You cast Bardic Inspiration, so is that a D10?
D10, yes.
All right. He puts his hands up, tries to focus his energy. And I also he gets advantage. Okay, promising. That bardic inspiration really helped. With a 21,
Wow.
he is able to just blast this purple psychedelic energy at this time stasis bubble. And you see it cracks start to form in it, like shattering a diamond. Just cracks in that time magic. Those pieces of shards of this bubble start to fall away. Sloon, you drop to the ground.
Avis will catch you.
Okay.
Am I awake or am I still like stunned?
You have 1 hit point,
That is true, yes.
so you could wake up now.
Okay.
You could be just hanging on, but yes, you could be awake
Okay.
if you choose to be.
I will be. And I look at Avis. And I say, I told you to go, you dumbass.
He will turn to Mephit. Can you see where he is in this building?
He looks up. He says he's on top of the hill. Do you want me to
How
take
far?
care of him? He actually directs this question to Sloon.
Yeah. I think somebody, if anybody can beat him, you can.
He
And
steps. Oh, go ahead.
And I say this looking straight at Mephit, knowing that it hurts Avis's pride.
Okay. Yeah, you do, Latreia, in the other room. I'll let you decide if you hear something. I think you would have felt the booms, even though you're fighting pretty hard right now. You would have felt the booms. You would have sensed a new presence in the other room. So yeah. And also in the other room, because you're all in 3 connecting rooms right now, kind of in an L shape. Rafa, Jesse, and Elliot. If you look back down that passageway that connects the 2 rooms, you probably would have seen that the stasis bubble is gone. But you probably wouldn't have seen the purple one because soon after this exchange between Avis and Sloon and Mephit being told to go take care of the wizard at the top of the hill, Mephit turns around, goes back through the entrance he made in the side of the hill, and you see him polymorph back into a purple dragon and fly out and around and upward.
Avis will look at soon.
And
You are an arrogant and foolish woman. And then he will kiss her and cast Cure
Damn
Wounds
it.
at 6th level.
damn it!
Can't say nothing.
All right, sure. Let me get that 6th level healing spell. That's so annoying. Whatever. How much does this heal?
33 points of damage.
33?
Yes, 33.
God damn it. This is not what I wanted, but whatever. It's fine.
Then he will, they'll have their moment, and then he'll go find Maitreya.
I'm presuming Latreia. Is there any other Yuan-Ti in front of them, or has the wave stopped for now?
Latreia, as long as that entryway is open, there's going to be Yuan-Ti pouring through it.
Latreia is going to look up. Does he think that he could be able to collapse? Wait, no, because Jesse and Elliot are inside the entryway, right?
No, they're in a
we're
different room
inside
now.
Oh, okay.
The room with the urns.
Perfect. So if I collapse the entryway, Jesse and Elliot would not be trapped. Right.
That is correct.
Perfect. In that case, Latreia is going to look around and says, "Playtime's over." And then they're just going to bring their axe up and just smash against the cave opening to try to get all of the rock to collapse aside and keep the Yuan-Ti from entering inside.
You don't even have to roll for that. You do it. That it is so.
And so it was.
So it was.
Yeah, exactly. You smack into the earth and rock of the hill, the roof inside this hillside compound, and rocks start to fall down and crack apart and cave down into the entryway. And you are able to close the entryway.
Perfect. From that, Latreia will head back over to the others and says, Saloon, are you okay?
I'm fine. And as she says this, feeling a little bit more energetic, she follows, she clicks her heels and follows Mephit out of the hill. Just to like, but before she does that, she looks at everybody and it's like, you guys need to go. This is not your fight. And then just flies off.
Not happening.
Oh my goodness.
And then
Elliot. Yeah.
With Jesse's, with my help, would Elliot and I both be able to topple this thing over?
Yeah, I'm going to say now, by the way, we're out of combat, obviously. So yeah, let's dip into that bronze room, that bronze urn room. And yes, both Jesse and Elliot are now able to, I'll just say, knowing how strong you both are together, you're able to topple the second urn.
It's only been a day. I'm guessing there's not much in there yet because it's been growing, right?
So the second urn, inside that second middle urn, and Rafa would know this, is a clone of himself. 14-year-old boy clone.
So when it topples over, Jesse's going to kneel. Well, I'm going to kneel down by the body and look up the kid and... What would you like me to do with this?
I could do it.
I don't know what kind of effects that's going to have in your psyche, and I would rather take that weight for you than you have to deal with that the rest of your life.
When you've died once before, seeing this again won't matter.
I know this is all really sudden, but I'm going to ask your permission. Would you be all right if I just touch you for a second on your shoulder?
Sure.
Okay. I'm a bit of a hugger, but I'm not going to jump right in there right now.
A lot of chest.
I mean, you know, thank
You're
you.
sweaty, and there's nothing personal. This is my
yeah.
one outfit, and I don't want to.
We'll make sure you get more outfits, but I just gently put a hand on your shoulder, and just for you to feel a bit of comfort in this moment, I just give you guidance. The spell guidance. So it's just a feeling of being guided comes over.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit more genuine care than Rafa's felt, perhaps. But also Rafa's pretty steeled against this, or like mindset on it. So I just take it and pull away, and I think I'm gonna mimic what I saw Jesse do and squish it.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
What do I just not athletics, but what should I roll?
So, you gonna tell me how you'd like to, just narratively, how would you like to try to destroy this?
I think Jesse, you crushed the head, right? Did you step on the head? Is that what you did? I want to do the same thing.
That'll be a strength check.
Okay. Yeah, that's what
just straight strength check.
Straight. It's just not going to bode well.
You have guidance, so you can add a D4 to that.
Oh!
What?
Nat 20, so my -1 doesn't matter.
Wow.
All right.
Okay. This was the time to roll a nat 20. Rafa, you've been through a lot. And yes, you had a former life, and then you were unnaturally brought back to this new body. You don't want to go through that again. It sucked. And it's too much for a 14-year-old to have to deal with again. And just with all of that ire and frustration and sadness and trauma, you just squish your heel down onto the head of the clone. And
I think I do it slowly so I make sure that it presses into it cleanly, like
so that it does the job.
Because I don't want my foot to.
It's like a controlled, absolutely, like a controlled,
symbolic, all those things.
Yeah, and so
Symbolic
it is.
squish.
So it's done. You've now destroyed. So your father's clone is destroyed, and now you have destroyed your own clone. Okay, so
I will sort of hold out my hand and say, do you want to see this through? Pointing in the direction of the others.
Oh, well, I mean, this was just one step. I don't know why, but my father wanted me to see what he was seeing, and I have a sense that he's not ours, but we do have one more thing to take care of before we handle him.
All right. Well, what is it?
I'd like to just wordlessly lead them downward to where I know that other person is.
okay.
Okay.
All right, so while you take the two of them downward into the cavern system, quick question for Latreia and Avis. Where would you like to go next?
The minute that Saloon sees Saloon starts to fly off into the distance after with Mafet, Latreia easily follows suit. She's just like, "Oh, you're not leaving me behind," and then he just probably runs over and try to pretty much Hulk leap.
Like climbing the hill.
Is it a straight up? Are they going straight up, or are they going? Is it like a horizontal distance?
So where you are, they're going upwards because where you are in the hill is like here, inside the hill, but like on towards the side. So you would like go out and then up to get to the top of the hill.
Okay, then Avis will grab Latreia, and once they reach outside, he will cast Dimension Door and they'll teleport 500 feet.
Perfect.
All right. Where would you like to arrive at?
Ideally somewhere safe, but 500 feet up. So wherever
Okay.
it is.
So we could say you're just closer to the top of the hill, where maybe you have the wizard in the top of the hill in your line of sight, but you're still kind of far enough away to be safe.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then so we're gonna cut now to where Saloon and Mephit went, which is the top of the hill. The wizard, when Mephit and Saloon, not far behind, arrive, the wizard has been sitting in a meditative cross-legged pose, eyes closed, looking peaceful, with that cloak and robe pulled over his head. Mephit and Saloon get closer, and the wizard kind of opens one eye and cracks a smile. And you can hear, as if he were like right next to you, Saloon, you hear him say, "Took you long enough." You're maybe muted.
Yeah, but I'm here now.
So you'd like to die a second time?
I don't think I died the first time. Did I die the first time?
You nearly did.
I see. If it means taking you down, I'll die a million deaths.
Mephit is going to blast out with his dragon breath this purple gas out towards the top of the hill, covering the top of the hill. Those of you who are nearby, you'll be out of range of this. So, wizard does have to make a check to see a saving throw to see if they... That was not good. Oh, wait. Oh, I forgot. I made this character. Well, the wizard, without moving... Hold on, I'll finish this and I'll go to you. Without moving a muscle, the wizard magically repels that blowing gas towards it. Mephit reassesses, kind of flies around a little bit, Avis, what were you going to say?
How close are we to this?
I would say to be safe from that cone, you'll have to be perpendicular. So you could be as close as, say, like 60 feet.
So was that a spell he used?
Who, the wizard?
Yes.
No. That was his save.
Well, I would like to use silvery barbs. Make him re-roll that.
Make him re-roll it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He has to take the lower, and has to take the lower result.
Lower of the two? Okay. Well, that might have... Let's see. Okay, yeah. So the first time he's able to repel that psychotropic gas from the dragon. The second time, not so much. And
then I will give Latreo advantage on his next roll.
Lovely.
With this in. Very disappointing performance.
And then I just have to roll one more thing for him. That's good. Okay. Oh, wait. I get advantage on that. Well, that's good. I got advantage on. Okay. So the damage, the wizard does seem rocked a little bit by that gas. Jesus, it's a lot. Okay. Oh, and he still took damage even on the successful one. So give me a second while I calculate how much damage the wizard takes.
No worries.
Oh, actually, if you like, let's please cut to down below. Rafa, Jesse, and Elliot, tell me. And yes, let's see what plays out there.
What's waiting for us down here, kid?
Honestly, someone else that needs our help more than I do.
Okay.
If we don't free this person, then if he comes back, there might be another version of my dad. There might be multiple versions of me. I may not know, but without this person's help, my dad won't be able to do anything, even if we don't stop him today.
Can I roll an insight check, please?
Sure can.
That would be a 22.
Okay. Rafa? What does he get from that insight check from you?
Well, I think he gets that there's a mage that we're going to go see that is the one who is basically helping my dad necromance and create the clones. And since it's such a high roll, I think Jesse understands better what I meant by having already died and gets the image. I don't know that I necessarily reveal it, but that trauma is so close to how my character experiences life now that he probably gets images of how I died in the first place. Or reanimating, one of the two. Maybe reanimating when I see the mage for the first time. So that's probably what I can't stop. So the first time I seen this mage is when I've been reanimated.
Do I get the sense from you that that this other mage is someone that you want us to help by helping them stop living, or help by set them free?
You get the sense that we just need to set them free, because that's all my dad has done is basically enslave everybody.
Okay. All right, well, let's go.
So yeah, I take him down to where the mage is, and I don't know everything that my father is doing, but I do know where the mage is, right?
Yes.
Lisa. Okay, so I'd like to just take us there.
Okay.
And sidestep any Yantines or whatever that might be in our way.
Yeah, you're able to, these back alleys, these back passages well enough to do that.
Right.
And soon you arrive at the room that your father has put the mage in. What you see is this room actually does have a door. And Rafa, you know that what's holding him inside is not magic or the strength of a door or a lock. It's just fear and exhaustion. You open this door that has been fitted into the archway of this underground room, and you see the mage, Elliot and Jesse. This is the one that you met in the Castle Perilous, the Zentara mage. He was, I believe, about mid-40s, olive-skinned, handsome salt and pepper, 40-something man. Slender, muscular build. He is curled up in the corner, just in kind of a fetal position. You can't see his face entirely, so you can't tell if he's asleep or not.
Can I use my divine sense just to see if I detect the presence of anything good or evil or desecrated or holy or anything along those lines?
Yeah.
Fiends, celestials. Oh,
You don't
wait,
detect
I don't think I get fiends.
any of that.
Okay.
Just this mage
Well,
curled up in a ball.
I'm going to gently put Rafa down and I will fly over to this person. A large part of me doesn't want to see you leave this room now that I know who you are. But the biggest part of me can't stand to see anybody locked up.
He looks up at you, still huddled in this ball, and you can see the surprise to see you. And then he looks at Jesse and then at Rafa. Is he defeated then?
About to be. Assuming that there's no more ways that you've given him that he can come back.
He looks at Rafa, the clone. Then that should be it for him.
I have a request.
What is it?
I don't want to do this anymore.
You sure?
If he's gone, I don't want to be here, and I didn't want to be in the first place.
No.
Hold up just a minute. Look, kid, I can't begin to imagine what you've been through. But I sure as heck know that there's a way that you can see yourself through this. We can help you. You can have a good life. There's a place I can take you. You'll be treated kindly and well and be part of a real family. You've been given a gift. You don't need to end it. You have a chance to live a full life.
You don't understand what I've been through. What we don't understand is that when we die, that's what was supposed to happen. My father doesn't understand that. I'm only here because of his inability to grieve.
I am gonna hold on to my necklace, which is also my holy symbol, and I am just gonna try and connect with Alusha quickly.
Okay. The world around you turns upside down and into that gray scale, that silvery gray scale. And Alusha is with you. And she says, "You've done well."
Does he have to die? I mean,
It's his choice. He already has died. His life now is powered by unnatural magic. No
Saint Bride.
life now will be the same as his first one.
Are you sure?
I can only say what I know, which is that it is the child's choice.
Okay. And you can see that I have tears going down my face. I wish you'd choose something else, kid, but freedom isn't freedom unless you get your own choice.
If I were to choose for you, that wouldn't be a life, and you wouldn't want that.
Thank you for your help.
Thank you for the kindness.
I hope the gods treat you kindly.
You'll figure it out when you get there.
I'm gonna take Elliot's hand, and we are gonna leave. Bye, kid.
Okay. You and Elliot go back up those passageways that Rafa showed you and leave Rafa in the room with the Zentarum mage. Okay. We go back up to the hillside, the hilltop. The psychotropic breath definitely dealt a very big blow to the wizard. He gets knocked back onto his side. You could see him kind of regain his breath. Then he looks up at Mephit, then at Sloone. And then he peers over to where Latreia and Avis are hanging out. Clocks you. And he stands up. And he points at you, Sloone. And he says, "If anyone kills me, it had better be you. Finish what the Haradraith started."
Sloone takes that as a challenge, and I said, "Don't worry. It's always been between us."
Okay, let's roll initiative. Now, he has a -1 on initiative, so he's never gonna do well unless, like last time, he rolls like a 19 on the die. How did you do?
I rolled a 19 plus my initiative of 4.
Okay, well, you definitely will go first.
Sweet.
Okay. What would you like to do?
I'm going to run up to him, and I think I have at least burning hands, so I'm going to run up to him and cast sort of like put my hand on his face and do burning hands.
Oh, and do you fly towards him? Because you were
Yeah.
still flying? Okay, great.
Yeah.
You'd like fly right at him.
Fly right
Face
at
on
him.
hands.
Face on hands, burning hands.
Go ahead. And does that have, do you need to roll for it, or is it just, it happens?
It's instantaneous. The save is 14.
All right. What kind of save is that?
Dex.
Thank you. No, doesn't make it.
All right. So he gets 12 damage.
Your hands sear into his face. Mm-hmm. He cries out in pain. Ah! And do you have any other actions you'd like to take?
Let's see. I think I'm gonna try to stab him with my dual weapon thingy, but no bonuses and stuff. It's just with my dagger.
Okay.
So that is a 16.
That hits.
All right, and then that's just a 1d4.
Okay.
And it's a 3. Just
right.
I stab him on the side while he's...
Okay, yep. Your dagger plunges into the side, and he kind of crumples towards that side in pain. All right. He is going to... Once again, it worked so well on you before. So... He... One second. Yes. Yes, okay, there it is. You see him kind of just like summon his strength through the pain that you've inflicted on him and lash out at you with a very strong spell, but he did not roll very well. Let's see. Does that hit though still? Oh, wait, no. Was I supposed to roll? Sorry. 1 second. Oh, no, you actually make an intelligence save. Yeah, sorry.
I have to make the intelligence save.
Intelligence DC 19.
All right. I rolled a 5 plus a 6, so it's a 12. I did not make it.
All right. So you feel once again that searing pain through your brain, through your psyche, as he deals 14d6 damage to you. Oh boy. Sloan.
Oh boy. 14d6. Wait, that's a lot.
I've just rolled it. Sloan, you are knocked out.
Yep.
Below 0 HP.
Oof.
So your turn is next. You're going to have to make a death saving throw.
All right.
Don't cheat. I know you want to die.
I won't die. I mean, I won't cheat. Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna roll it here so y'all can see my roll in D and D Beyond. Where is the death saving throws in D&D Beyond?
She said, "Don't cheat. I know you want to die."
Sure, I do.
Like, can I get lucky and get the lower roll, please?
Where is the death saving throw? F.
I think you have to.
You just roll a
yourself
d20
to-
and add your con modifier.
Oh wait, let me do. Let's see, 45 damage. Aha! All right, there it is. All right, I'm gonna go. How do you do this? Whatever. I'm just gonna roll it.
Okay.
Just roll a d20. Why won't it just? I hate.
D20.
I'm just gonna roll a d20.
And success would be 10 or higher.
Mm-hmm.
Roll it here. I can't. So the first one is a 12.
Okay. So you have one success.
I have one success. Yeah.
All right. And now so you two are now within arm's range. You have passed out basically in his arms. And he calls, actually, you know what he's going to do? He blips away.
Okay, can I counterspell that?
Yes, you can, especially because I'm kind of cheating because she can't give consent for him to do that because he's unconscious. So you can definitely counterspell on this. He tries to blip away with her. And go ahead and do your counterspell. How does that work?
It is okay. I rolled a 15. The DC. Oh no, actually, I'm casting it at 5th level. So what level is the spell that they're using?
Oh, so he's doing Dimension Door at. Let me see. 1 second. He has a lot of spells to scroll through.
Well, Dimension Door is 4th level, so is he upcasting it?
I'm literally just seeing how high he can cast it at.
That's the 9th level.
Wait, sorry, I'm not seeing it at all. Dimension. Did I not add it? My bad. He definitely has it. Where is it? Wait, am I on the right character sheet? I am. I might have added it to the wrong character.
Oopsies, and I oop.
1 second, please. One moment.
What a moment.
He's been using it a lot, so whoopsie. Door. No, it's in there. It says delete, so it's in there. Okay, he's casting it at 4th level. We'll just say that. I don't know why it's not showing up. Oh, it wasn't prepared. Okay.
Then it fails.
Okay, then he tries to blip away with Sloon in his arms, and he can't. And he looks at all of you. And now, for the first time, you see him start to doubt doubt his skills, doubt his strength, doubt his abilities. He feels cornered. He looks down into Sloon's face. Sloon, go ahead and do another saving throw.
All right.
I have a question. With our fast movement speed, and with dash and all my extra monk stuff, would we be catching up at the moment?
Yeah, I would say after this saving throw, you would have arrived at the top.
8.
Okay, so 1 fail.
So when Latreia sees her go down, Latreia, of course, growls. And from that motion, he looks towards Avis, and then looks towards Moffat, and then looks towards the individual. It says, takes out the axe, and you see him starts to bang against his chest as, of course, those runes, those Fae-like chants starts to echo in the background. And you can kind of hear his mom just speaking to the distance. It's just say, go. And as he rushes forward, it starts to grow because now there's no limit. Since they're outside, he's going to use his amulet to grow into his full storm giant size and goes into a huge creature standing at around, I think it's like 20 feet tall. And he's just going to rush forward and pretty much bring his axe down on this individual.
He is holding Sloon in his arms. I'm going to have you roll at disadvantage.
Okay.
To try not to hit Sloon.
All right.
You have advantage because I use silvery barbs last time.
Yes.
Okay. So it's going to cancel out.
Perfect.
So you won't have disadvantage then.
Great. And then I'm going to use Reckless, which gives me advantage on the attack. So now we'll go ahead and bring my axe out this individual.
That was like checkers.
I know.
All right. So the first roll will be a 16. Like I got advantage. Oh, perfect. That's a 19 on the die. So that is going to be 29 to hit.
That hits.
All right. And he is a human, so you about to take some extra damage.
He already took a lot of damage from the dragon's breath. So are you... Yeah, go ahead and do your damage, but I feel like... Yeah.
I feel like he paced.
Yeah. There it is.
Right.
Might be able to get him with this one blow.
Oh, I've got a D6. 48 points of damage for the first hit.
That'll do it.
All right.
With that one blow, you slice through this wizard and take his life from him. He falls apart to the ground, and Sloon now lays there on the ground as well next to him.
I would like to
Sloon,
cast Spare the Dying on her.
Hold on.
Okay.
Sloon, do another saving throw. Death saving throw.
Okay. That is a 9.
So that's 2 fails. You will die if you get one more.
Oh, I really
fail.
want. Do I roll it again?
What were you going to do next, Jesse?
I'm going to cast Spare the Dying on her. Which
So you
I
may-
touch creature that has 0
Hold on,
hit
hold on,
points.
hold on,
The
hold on.
creature becomes stable. The spell has no effect on undead or construct.
So you're with your speed, you were able to get to the hillside by the time she did that second saving throw. So I'm gonna say she does have to do this last saving throw before you can get to her. So
Okay.
go ahead and do that last saving throw.
If I've ever wanted you to fail, today is that day. Please. No, wait, actually, I'm going to get one that always fails me. If I ever wanted you to not fail.
Natural 20.
No.
Natural 20.
It's a 2.
Sloone breathes her last breath of life as Jesse, you rush over as fast as you can, but it's just too late. But deep within the hillside compound in that bronze urn room, the third bronze urn still stands. And we zoom in to the side of the urn through the water, and we see a little baby human growing, and its eyes pop open. And we see that it is a tiny version of a growing Sloone. That's the end of season 1 of Lords of Faerun.
What? Wait, what? wait, what? What?
That's it. It is so.
And so it was.
I want to see a tweet of that freaking dice roll, Glyza, right now.
I'm going to show you exactly where it is. I'm going to show you. I'm going to take a picture right now
Nah, I
of
don't
what
believe
it
you're
looks
cheating.
like.
I think
I'm just
Kira is
kidding.
too
I don't
shocked
believe- I
to
don't
wrap
believe
up the
you.
show.
I don't believe you're cheating.
Right here. I'm going to show it to you. It says, ooh, wait. It says
All I see
2.
is purple.
It says,
All I see is purple.
2. Wait, give me a minute. It's
Put it in our Discord.
I
Tweet
believe
it
you.
out.
I believe you.
I'm going to tweet it out because it was a 2. And I was so happy.
So just so I can understand correctly, she turned into an Akachan?
No. No, baby, no. Baby, no.
she not turned to an Akachan. Okay.
We'll talk about it in the after show.
Okay. All right. Yes, I have stopped responding. Exactly. Kira.exe has stopped responding. Thank you, Super Rebouncer. That's the correct. My brain was just like, well, what just happened? What just happened? So, of course, first of all, thank you to our special guest, Jessica, for coming across, bringing a fantastic character and an incredible performance. Like, absolutely phenomenal. Like, people in chat were just talking about, like, they were just shocked. It was great. We did not expect it to go down that road, and the realness was delicious, palpable.
I'm so glad. Thanks for having me.
Thank
You
you.
were a lovely scene partner for something very emotional. Thank you.
Thank you, Elisa, of course, for always bringing in such a fantastic storyline. And with this curveball at the end, I was like, what? I got to wait months to figure out what's going to happen to the baby salute? Okay, so thank you, Elisa, for everything that you have done for this campaign, for being such an incredible storyteller, friend, and scene partner. It's been such a great time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being an amazing table of players.
Love you.
Yeah, thank you to this cast. You all are, again, has brought in the characters every single time, and each one of your characters has left a special place in our heart. Queen Saloon and her, I gotta die. Okay, I'm dead. Wait, now I'm a baby. Do I need formula milk right now?
I mean, there's still second season. We don't know what's going to happen. Just yet.
Exactly. Are they going to get fast forward age, or are we about to have a lone wolf and cub moment? And of course, definitely not last. Thank you to our viewers, because without you, we would not be here, and we wouldn't be able to tell the story. So thank you for being able to follow us every single episode as we try to bring out this content. So we're going to go ahead and film our after show, which is going to be placed on our YouTube versus it being on our Patreon, because of course we want to talk about everything that happened. So make sure to be able to join us for our after show on our YouTube. And yeah, like I said, this isn't the end. Just a temporary goodbye for now.
A long break.
A long break. So until season 2 begins. Until then, farewell for now.